Hello and welcome to Inside Edition to discuss national, regional and international issues in depth. The hospitality and tourism sector in the Kingdom of Bahrain continue to witness a remarkable progress and constant development as they are considered one of the main pillars of economic growth in the 2030 vision of the Kingdom. The Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority is keen to coordinate with various international institutions to promote the Kingdom's tourism sector, equip it with highly qualified workforce, and further positioning Bahrain as an ideal tourist destination. The establishment of Vitalis Hospitality and Tourism Business School in the Kingdom is one of the fruitful results of such cooperations and a cornerstone in the path of national hospitality and tourism sector's development. To talk more about its role and aspirations, we're pleased to be joined here in the studio by Mr. Julien Lesquet, who has been leading the Vitalis School in Bahrain since September 2018.
It's like an evidence. This hotel management school is the perfect combination, perfect transition between the education and the job.
Because Vatal allows candidates with different academic backgrounds and therefore trains very efficient and open-minded future professionals who will be more able to solve or to find an innovative solution to hospitality business.
Because the Vatel educational program is giving you all the keys to success. You have every chance to achieve your dreams in the hospitality industry.
What I really enjoyed is that you not only learn from the teachers, but you also practice in the hotel, Vatel. So I got to learn from the clients, to understand them, to play with them, and it made my great opportunity to work as a sales, which I really enjoy.
Because I wanted to travel. I knew I wanted to travel a lot. Then I decided to do hospitality. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew Vatel. Vatel has a worldwide recognition. It is an amazing alumni network. Vatel has a very nice program named Marco Polo. You can go elsewhere in another country to become an expert in another language or to meet different people, different way of working or way of life, and to adapt yourself to another type of people. This is really important.
Because every day I have to deal with something new. I have to face to unsolved problems. So Vatel didn't give me all the solutions, but something more. Vatel gave me all the keys to understand the diversity of the hospitality industry. And in my job, that's significant.
Vatel developed my intercultural skills. Internship in France or abroad develop a real and strong professional experience.
Because it's a perfect school to improve skills, knowledge, and to have a strong professional network.
Because my last Vatel internship ended with a permanent contract at famous Hotel de Crillon in Paris. It was fantastic to have a job just after graduating. From the very start, Vatel School gave me a framework to learn a sector. I was young and wanted to discover hospitality business. It opened me a lot of potential for the future. The good news is I often meet Vatel alumni as decision makers in the business now.
Because Vatel is a magic key opening every door of the hospitality industry. From luxury palaces to travel partners, Vatel will enable you to choose the path that you want in the best circumstances.
It was great having you with me today, but I have to go back to work. Clients await. Thank you. Bye.
Welcome back to the studio. Joining me here is Mr. Julien. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks to you.
You are heading one of the international institutions in the tourism and hospitality sectors, hospitality in specific. The establishment of Vatel Hotel and Tourism Business School came to fulfill a certain need within the country. To understand that more, can you tell us about the institution?
In fact, Vatel did not come here by hazard. It was an international tender launched by the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Tourism, His Excellency Zayed Al-Zayani, who wanted to have a, let's say, a European knowledge education related to hospitality and tourism industry here in the kingdom.
Right.
So after this international tender, Vatel wants it, and we settle down here in Bahrain. The chiefs, I mean, the goals we want to achieve are to train the next generation of managers and leaders for the hospitality industry here in Bahrain and in the Gulf, if we take the global picture, obviously.
Yeah, right. Vatel has a very deep-rooted history. Tell us how about the institution itself, how it started and how it came into this field.
I'm going to tell you two things. The first one is Vatel, it's a family name. It's a family name of a master of ceremony of one of the king cousin during the French monarchy, dedicated to excellence, loyalty and commitment. So this is this value that Vatel is currently promoting right now.
And bringing with them to this.
Obviously, but the school itself is born in 1981, so almost 40 years now in France, and now we reach to a certain extent where we do have 50 schools around the world with 9,000 students and 35,000 alumni. So it's definitely, let's say, relevant, and when you are a Vatelian working in the hospitality industry, you're meeting other Vatelians as well, so it's a huge network and a huge connection.
Yes, perfect. Vatel is here in Bahrain, as you said, to train some of the local crafts in basically performing their duties within the tourism sector. What can you tell us about Bahrain being an island and Vatel being here? What is the progression that you see, in fact?
Okay, so currently in Vatel we offer the bachelor degree. In the next two coming steps, we're going to offer the MBA degree in hotel and tourism management and short-term courses, because we're focusing on higher education, but as well in Bahrain there is a need for operational staff and obviously employees. And we need to fill this gap, because when you're coming into a country, you're going to be hosted by this country, but you need to feel the flavor of this country. Beside the country itself, what's going to give you the flavor, it's the human side of it. The human side of it, usually you meet it straight away after the visa section, obviously, at the hotel.
Of course. But also when it comes to like setting the goals within the institute here in Bahrain, do you take into consideration the tourism in Bahrain itself, or is it like one size fits all?
No, we took Bahrain as well as a hub for us. For Vatel, took it as a hub for us in the Middle East. The idea is to build up Vatel here as the, let's say, hospitality hub for higher education and training education in the region. Okay, and if you look at, let's say, the Kingdom of Bahrain development with His Majesty Vision 2030, obviously you can see that all the stones have been put one by one, and obviously to accompany this development you need to have trained staff, managers, senior managers, and operational staff. Therefore, you need a school, you need a college, and education is a cornerstone to it. And this is what the country, what the kingdom is doing for its people.
Well, Vatel's work is based on the progressive and continued mixture of theoretical aspects and professional experience. What can you tell us about the provided programs here in the kingdom? You said the bachelor's degree, but also the ones that are specified to the events, or let's say the kind of tourists that come to Bahrain.
In Bahrain, currently, you have, let's say, 4 or 5 types of tourism. You've got the business one, you've got the family one, you've got the wedding ones, you've got the, let's say, the neighboring country ones, and you've got the institutionalized one. Okay, so these 5 categories of tourism, need to be, have each of them a need, a demand, a special need. So we're training our students to feed these needs, because in Vatel, 1 week is on the college, the other week is in the hotel. So there is a rotation between theoretical courses and practical applications. So our students are straight away into the industry they are going to work in. It's a higher education, hands-on education as well. It's both, it's a mixed, and it's pretty unique in the country.
When it comes from your point of view, how would the important contributions of Bahraini youth develop the progress of the national hospitality and tourism sector, especially that you have such a diversity when it comes to the youth? I mean, they have different interests and so on, but you can still utilize it in the 5 sectors, as you said.
What's very interesting with the generation we're dealing with, it's very creative. They love innovation, and there is something. As Bahrainis, they love to share their country. I mean, we've got around 60 to 70% of Bahrainis in our college, which is pretty unique if you look at it. And all of them are very keen to share the knowledge of their country, to be creative about their country, and to shake the hospitality industry in their country.
And how about the criteria that you put in order for anybody that wants to apply, whether it's from the local crafts or others?
In fact, in terms of criteria, we do have, first of all, the high school degree, which is a prerequisite. Then we do assess the personality, because soft skills in hospitality industry are very, very important.
Yeah.
And then English. English, it's a prerequisite. If you don't speak English, it's very challenging for you to get in on board of the ship of the hospitality.
Right.
So these 3 criteria are being assessed, and then
absolutely, and then
you
they
can
go
join.
and
Yes.
then they join. Yeah, perfectly. And usually, like your graduates, your alumni, what do they continue on to do? What is like further education for them within the field?
You've got 2 tracks. You've got the one who's going to continue studying for an MBA, for example, in Vatel or anywhere else, or you've got the one who's going to get straight away into the industry itself.
Yes.
And usually they're succeeding. Vatel degree, bachelor or MBA, is a booster.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you're not going to escape from the lower position. Definitely not. But you're going to boost your career.
Faster.
Exactly. It's a fast track in a way.
Yes,
You're right.
perfect. And it's a fast track not just in Bahrain, internationally, as you said, because it's an accredited institution internationally. Latest technologies and modern means of social media have really facilitated the direct communication with the target audience, whether it is your students or whether it is the actual people that visit the hotels or the hoteliers themselves. So how does your institution make use of this technology to serve the better goals or the greater good?
Obviously, you use it to communicate, because the target of the government in here is to raise the awareness of regarding the main and all the opportunities you may have in the hospitality industry. When you look at it, when I was looking at it as well, when I was a kid, I was just seeing people who were serving other people's, and that's it, or people going to a bedroom.
Yeah.
But it's far more than that. I mean, you've got protocol, you've got PR, you've got management, you've got event management, you've got finance, you've got revenue management, you've got general management, and it's a land of opportunity.
Of course.
And in fact, this bachelor degree, which is accredited in France and will be soon in Bahrain, because it's a process, aim to be a passport, an international passport to the world for them.
Yes.
And through the media, we're using it to promote and to raise this awareness.
Yes.
But the best media we do have, it's our students.
Yes,
they are our own ambassadors and ambassadors of Bahrain.
Yes, yes, of course. When it comes to even serving the goals that we're talking about here, does it really come into prospect, like when students come from a different background and then come and want to switch to hospitality? Is that something that also is considered?
Definitely. We have some of our students, some of them are coming from engineering, and they're switching to hospitality, which is, let's say, a gap, if you look carefully at it. And what make them do this gap, it's interactivity, because it's not, the training itself is challenging, but you're facing straight away customers.
Yes.
And what you're going to learn, you're going to implement it straight away.
Yes. When we live in a world that is growing immensely when it comes to the business of hoteliering or even tourism by itself. Behind the scenes, we talked a little bit about healthcare tourism, but you also feel right now there are these new institutions coming out. Some of them is payment for using somebody's house during the vacation. Do these all affect each other in the long run, or is it different because this is purely hospitality business and this is an extra thing on the side?
It's very nice because it reminds me what our students are doing. I mean, Bahrain, everyone has a side business.
Yeah.
In fact, it's 2 different markets.
Yeah.
Definitely. You're not going to hotels the way you're going, for example, to B&Bs. It's a different market, and you're not looking for the same outcomes. So we cannot really compare these 2 markets. It exists, they evolve in parallel, but they feed different needs.
Yeah.
But I will add something to your comment. I mean, hospitality industry worldwide, and we need to be fully aware of that, it's 10% of a worldwide GDP.
Yeah.
In Bahrain, it's 6%, and 1 job over 10 is in the hospitality industry in the world.
Yes.
So it's massive.
Yes, it is. Yes. How about the hospitality sector in Bahrain? What can you tell us about its progression, where it's going towards, especially with such an institution as Vatel in it?
Hospitality sector in Bahrain is booming. I mean, soon we're going to welcome around 4,000 additional rooms. I mean, around 15 new hotels going to come. And the current existing hospitality industry is developing more. I mean, some of them are renovating, some of them are creating new, let's say, entertainment for the guest. So it's booming, and it's booming in a good direction.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're looking closely, we relate it to BTA, Bahrain Tourism and Exhibition Authority. So BTA has set up a strategy to promote Bahrain worldwide in order to attract many more tourists than the current one.
Yes.
So they want to gain market shares worldwide and to, let's say, increase the size of Bahrain on the map.
Yes.
I'm not talking about the land, obviously,
understood.
but the reputation. And when people are coming to Bahrain, I mean, my family came to Bahrain, and they would have never been there if we would have not been there. And they've been shocked. They loved it.
Yes.
And they're coming quite often.
That's amazing. Usually when people travel here to Bahrain with all the events that are happening and so on, their best friend is the concierge at the hotel. So training these manpowers in order to to know the events that are going on, whether they're government events, or whether they are national events, whether they are even private sector events, like our upcoming Formula 1 event. How is this cooperation between Vatel and training these students or training this industry in cooperation with other institutions, government institutions, because communication is everything in this field?
In Bahrain, in Vatel in Bahrain, we've got courses. We've got, for example, the course of history of Bahrain, and we've got as well an archaeological classes related with Ministry of Culture. So let's say, between government entities, we're working together jointly to provide a global offer, because obviously you can go to Bahrain and say there is the Grand Prix, but Bahrain is more than that as well. So they need to know, for example, the historical heritage, and as well as let's say, where the tourist can find what they are looking for and to answer their needs. So this is what we're doing in here. And we provide as well the students with an insight of their own country. Some of them from time to time have not been traveling to some areas of their country. And by studying with us, they as well discovering their own country and found it even more amazing that it is already.
Yes, yes. When it comes to cooperation with institutions, what is your point of view on like what the Ministry of Antiquities is doing when they bring in cultural antiquities? They bring cultural programs from all around the world and bring it over here, and you see people from Saudi Arabia, from other GCC countries actually coming to visit them. Do you think that's a boost, that's a plus? Is that something that you focus on within your institution?
Indeed. I mean, we already have some students from Saudi, for example, and we promoted Bahrain and Vatel in Bahrain, even in the other GCC countries. What we need to understand is currently this career is a niche career. So it's not yet trendy. It's going to be trendy. It's about to be. So we need to build it up in terms of awareness and to open the huge jobs opportunities and perspective related to it.
Yeah. Everybody does their piece. As I said, the Ministry of Culture and Antiquities takes it upon itself every year to do the Spring of Culture, where it introduces so many different cultures to the people here in Bahrain and the people that are coming to Bahrain just to watch them. Are these things necessary in order to boost tourism within the country?
Yes. Straight away, the answer is yes. And if you look, I mean, Ministry of Culture is doing a very good job, and an amazing one regarding the different festivals we're organizing. And on the other side, which is very interesting as well, for example, the food festival organized by BTA, the sea festival organized by BTA as well, it's the counterpart. It's like the other side of a coin. And both are working together, and this is definitely necessary. When I arrived here, I mean, where I'm coming from in France, we don't have that much festival. Here, in winter, let's say autumn, winter, starting spring, it's really amazing. Every weekend something is happening.
Yes, of course.
And this is where, I mean, we're working as well on it's to market it and to make it more well known worldwide as well. Because you do not expect that on this small island that so many things are happening.
Yes, absolutely. And Vatel has always had an eye for good places to invest their manpower abilities in, and that's why Vatel Hotel and Tourism Business School in Bahrain has recently won the Best Hospitality and Tourism Program by Forbes Middle East Higher Education Award among 22 categories. How do you value such a remarkable international recognition, and how did it really come about? How did you succeed in getting it?
We got it after 6-7 months of operation. I mean, it's to process to this kind of awards, you need to fulfill, obviously, documentation, what you are, what you do, what you aim. And as we mentioned, the teaching philosophy is pretty unique. It's 1 week in classes, 1 week in hotels. So it's pretty new in here. And most of the hotels, most of the hospitality industry are looking for our students. And jobs are the outcomes.
Yeah.
And we're really focusing for the industry. If you're looking at our teachers, and this is an asset, most of our teachers are coming from the industry itself.
Yeah.
And we train them how to teach.
Yeah.
But
so
they've got the expertise. Yeah. So this is an asset.
Both way, yeah.
Exactly. And this is what amazed Forbes. Because we were here in the Middle East on a market which is hospitality industry, which is not currently trendy, challenging, but we're succeeding.
Yes. Yeah.
We're succeeding on the educational part, on the communication part, and we are on the asset for the future.
Yes, yes.
Definitely in terms of vision.
Definitely.
So this is where we are using it, and we're using it as well, obviously, as at governmental level, and to, let's say, to ask students to join us if they like, and it's a mark of credibility.
Yeah.
That we are doing here. It's not a discount education.
Yes.
It's the European education in Bahrain, and it's a luxury.
Yes. Actually, as you said, it's a niche
Yes.
program, and the word niche itself doesn't come from just being little. It comes also from being grand, not just very little. Bahrain has so many international hotelier companies that have put base within the country. I mean, commonly we have the Ritz-Carlton, we have Sheraton, we have other big institutions. That by itself really talks about the standard of the country when it comes to providing for the tourism sector. What can you tell me about such grand names being here in Bahrain? What does that mean for the tourism sector?
It means that Bahrain is on the map, first point. Second point, that we need Bahrainis, because obviously it's the hospitality industry belongs to a country. This country is Bahrain, so we do need Bahrainis, or Gulf citizens, at least locals, for 2 points. And the third one is when you look at the way the industry is settled here and the way they are coming, it means that opportunities are here.
Yeah.
And if you have opportunities, you've got jobs.
Yeah.
And everything is related to. So you need to connect the train in order to move on.
Yes, yes. When we were talking before, you said something that really ringed in my head, that the Bahrainis are the best ambassador of their country. Keeping that in mind, how are the citizens of one country the best to show the culture of a country?
They feel it. They feel it, they live it. I mean, there is a paradox here. You've got hospitality industry, but you don't have that much Bahrainis now working in the hospitality industry. But I mean, with the students, some of them are inviting me at home. Some of my colleagues are inviting me at home, and it's a challenge to refuse. It's like a state affair.
Yes.
It's something huge. So they are the best to promote their country, their food, their hospitality, their kindness. It's pretty unique.
Yeah, yeah.
But you cannot feel. It's not that you cannot feel it, but it is not extended to the hospitality industry itself. And this is how to bring home to the home of others.
Yes.
How to make the others, the tourists coming in, for any matters, how to make them feel home in Bahrain, to feel in a Bahraini home.
Yes.
So it's how to bring more Bahraini flavor in it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We talked a little bit about what makes Bahrain special. So we mentioned, of course, the cultural events that happen and so on. When we travel to other countries, France being one of them, they're very famous for Christmas markets. They're very famous for their architectural sites like the Eiffel Tower and so on. Bahrain also has that special flavor. We have the Bahraini Farmers Market with their huge events for children, for families that now also tourists are visiting. We have the mangroves of Tubli.
Yes.
We have so many different areas which are natural or man-built that really promote the country as the cozy, kind living island that people don't see it yet in, or actually see it because they've been here for a while. What more can be done in order to promote that aspect of small events, of the culture of the country becoming the actual event?
It's to make it known.
Yeah.
In fact, Bahrain is a gold mine. We just need to shine. The sun is going on it right now, so it's going to shine. And this is what the government is doing, especially BTA.
Yeah.
I mean, they make it shine. But when you think of the Gulf, you don't expect an island like that.
Right, right.
You've got pictures, you've got image, but when you think of Bahrain, what do you think of?
Yeah, yeah.
You think of Dubai, you think of Riyadh,
yes.
You think of Oman, but Bahrain, yet people don't think with a picture on it.
Yeah.
And the picture is being currently built up by the government online with His Majesty Vision.
Yes.
And this is really good because it's not just one kind of tourist, as I said. You've got historical heritage, natural heritage, you've got leisure, sport, business. I mean, it's really amazing.
Yes, yes. In performing its duties, the Vatel deals with several local and international institutions. We talked about the governmental ones, but other ones. So it exchanged visits with them, expertise. How do you value these cooperations, and how does it contribute positively to the goals that you wish to achieve?
You were talking about the government. I mean, Vatel is an affiliate member of the UNWTO, United Nations World Tourism Organization.
Yeah.
But beside that, I mean, Vatel is exchanging between its school networks first. I mean, we've got more than 50 schools around the world, so we're exchanging teachers. We have an international student exchange program named Marco Polo.
Yeah.
So it's to bring all this insight into Bahrain.
Yeah.
In fact, they are pretty lucky, our students, because they can live an international experience at home.
Yes.
And this is what we're doing.
That's fabulous, right? Especially that does culture come into the scenario of teaching? Is it being considered the culture of the country, the culture of the tourists that are coming in, and so on? And are there courses that come to that kind of multicultural affirmation?
We had to adjust a bit the program. So the answer is yes. An adaptation was necessary. Obviously, I mean, the culture here is not the same as in Asia, and it's not the same as in Europe for many things. So we had to adapt one or two topics. I'm going to be straightforward. I mean, we used to have one classes. It became a Arab culture classes. So we need to adapt to the culture.
Exactly.
This is what we're doing. And this is as well the force and the strength of Vatel. This is where we are doing pretty well. It's because Vatel has a model which is flexible enough to adapt locally to the country.
Right, you tailor your program for the country itself.
There are things we do not give up. For example, when we're talking about theoretical courses, we've got marketing, HR, finance, digital skills, etc., etc.
These have international standards.
Exactly. And they are teaching up to the international standards. Right. But then you've got the, let's say, the more professional courses, and these are to be adapted to the local particularism.
Yes, absolutely. Before we go into my question of what more would you like to see from students that come, or the criteria that they should put for themselves, I want to talk about Vatel more. You said before that you have 50 schools around the world, 9,000 students and over 35,000 alumni.
Yes.
And you call yourself the Vatelians because they refer to Vatel itself, which is very interesting. These are living proof of the success and the unique teaching concepts. What are the future plans of Vatel and its upcoming projects to maintain its growth? Maybe not just, I mean, in the international level, but within the local level, the Middle East level.
Just to take Bahrain, to answer your question, we've got 3 plans. Okay, the first one, it's the MBA. Obviously, we've got a bachelor degree, we need to have an MBA. The second one is to work on training centers, to train, let's say, Bahrainis which are not yet skilled for the hospitality industry on an operational level.
Right.
And there is a midway one, which is the executive education.
Yeah.
You've got already people who have been working for years in the hospitality industry without any degree recognition.
Absolutely.
I mean, educational speaking.
Yeah, right.
In education, I'm talking about, obviously. And this pathway is a midway as well. So we've got 3 different tracks to get on, to get in. So, as I said, MBA, training courses, training short-term courses, and then executive education with the validation of professional experience.
Yes.
And these are the growing, let's say, path Vatel is going to take soon. I mean, we are working on it right now.
Yeah, and this will also give them the tools they need in order to go further their education even elsewhere and then come back to the country. Now, before we get to the end of the show, what can you tell us very drastically about awareness when it comes to the hotel sector? There are so many things that affect it. I mean, now we have the sustainable development programs that are coming in, and I know for a fact European countries are very strongly behind less waste, more productive usage and sustainable usage. Do you train that as well within Vatel in a world that needs more of that change?
Definitely. I mean, our students are the next generation who's going to value the country to welcome visitors. So this country needs to be protected.
Yes.
And this is the way we worked on. I mean, plastic, papers, even cigarette butts.
Yeah.
Everything we're telling them to protect their country. I mean, Bahrain is going to be there. Bahrain's going to feed them.
Yes.
But I mean, if you're killing Bahrain, you're not going you're not going to be fed.
Yes.
So this is the thing. It needs to be protected. It's existing now, but it's very fragile.
Yes, yes,
definitely. When you're at sea from time to time, you may see some plastics, and otherwise you may not see anything, and it's so gorgeous.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
You know, two coins.
Yeah.
We need obviously to live in this country and to live as with the standards we all of us have here, but we need to take care of it and to protect it.
Yeah.
So yes, we do.
Definitely.
And we work on it.
We've almost gotten to the end of the show. At the end, I'd really like to ask you what are the pros, the cons of the tourism sector within Bahrain, keeping in consideration the hoteliers, the tourism that are coming. What should be done, and how do we avoid the obstacles that we're facing?
I mean, your question is very interesting. Bahrain needs to stay, human.
Yeah.
It could not be, for example, a billion of people coming straight away.
Yeah.
It's a small island with, let's say, a niche market in terms of tourism.
Right.
And it's not need to be kept this way.
Yeah.
It needs to be promoted this way.
Yes.
For example, if you pick up Mauritius, it's a very selective tourism there.
Right, right.
And this is where I see Bahrain, on a very selective tourism attraction destination. In terms of destination, need to be very selective and very targeted. You've got the cruise coming,
yes,
but the people on the cruise are wealthy people. You've got a lot of Indian marriage currently as well. So these are pathways where Bahrain has assets and card to play on, definitely.
Yes. Well, that's great. Thank you so much for coming today and answering some of our questions. We hope we'll have you again. You've been here since 2018.
Yes.
Let's see where the next plans get executed, and we'll have you again to talk about them.
With pleasure. Thank you very much, Sarah.
You.
Thanks.
And we would like to thank you, dear guests, for watching us, and we'll see you next weekend.